dude, if I'm Buffalo Wild Wings, I am doubling down.
Yeah.
Like there's going to be campaigns around this. There's going to be t-shirts around this. At least we have the nuggets to serve chicken.
Yeah. Day by day, night after night, blinded by the neon lights. Hurry here, hustle in there. No one's got the time to spare as we kick off episode number 142 of the Promo UPFront podcast with little Stevie Ray Vaughan. I'm one of your hosts, Bill Petrie. With me, as always, let's call him the Earl of Embellishment and Embroidery, the one and only Kirby Hasseman from Coshocton, Ohio. Kirby, how the Ohio are you today?
I'm doing well. It's the year's kicked off well. Things are going well at the office. As I mentioned before we started recording, I had my grandson stay the night last night, which was amazing. That's always really cool to spend time. But let's just say sleep was less last night, so I'm a little bit groggy, or at least more groggy than normal. But other than that, man, I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm doing good. This weekend, getting ready to go see my kids, so I haven't seen them in a while. So I'm kind of excited about that. It's just been a little too long. So looking forward to a little road trip. One of the trappings of working from home I'm enjoying today. I have a pork butt smoking right now as we're recording this for dinner tonight.
Nice.
So not too bad of a day. But I was sitting there thinking about things that are custom. Things get me to thinking a lot. And Kirby, I know you look for absolutely completely kick-ass branded merchandise for your clients, and you know what I'm talking about, the type of merchandise that elicits that wow and that aha we get from clients. You look for that, don't you, Kirby?
Of course. If it's not remarkable, nobody remarks about it.
Exactly, Kirby. Look no further than our friends over at Seven Sourcing. Because they're experts in the field, they work with distributors to help them source custom orders direct from fully vetted overseas factories. And that's without having to deal with those factories themselves. Seven Sourcing has a really strong pedigree when it comes to navigating direct custom merch sourcing, as their team has over a quarter century of successful importing experience. And even better, Kirby, they work directly with each distributor on brand strategy, product development, product sourcing, order management, quality control, compliance, and logistics. In other words, they really demystify direct custom sourcing. And while they source merchandise at the lowest possible cost, they don't sacrifice quality or safety to meet a price. And I love that. Seven Sourcing isn't interested in meeting expectations. And you know how I tell this. They don't want to meet expectations. They only strive to exceed expectations. And I know that's something that always resonates with you, Kirby.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I think that, for me, and I think a lot of people out there, the idea of going overseas can be really intimidating. And so having a partner that makes you feel better, that you trust, is the only way that I would do it.
100%. Russ and his team over at Seven Sourcing are absolutely ready to help you guys. It does take a little bit longer. It takes about 75 days, but isn't that extra planning worth it to get that wow moment? I'll tell you what, Kirby and I sure as heck think so. So when you're ready to move away from off-the-shelf solutions and maybe wow your clients with something that's more off the wall, why don't you reach out to Seven Sourcing at sales@sevensourcing.com. All right, Kirby, last week we did our annual Powerhouse Women of Promo podcast. Want to thank everybody for all the overwhelming response we got from it. I was very positive, and it was shared and commented. Really joyful to turn on Facebook for a change and see people appreciating each other. And so I really enjoyed that. But I have to admit, we made a little bit of an error last week. We were asked to mention something and we didn't, because we were just so excited about the list. So fair. It would have worked perfectly last week, but it's just as perfect this week. We did forget to mention that PPAI's annual Women's Leadership Conference is right around the corner. It's going to be June 25th through 27th in Eagan, Minnesota, and they have an incredible slate of speakers and networking opportunities. It's always a great event. You want to learn more? PPAI.org/events. Scroll down a little bit, click on that handy Women's Leadership Conference button, and you're not going to be sorry you did. All right, Kirby.
Hey, real
I
quick,
believe,
you,
yeah,
you can go first, but I just
please.
wanted to say, to
No.
expound upon something you just said. I hadn't really thought about why, you know, seeing the Facebook stuff blow up was so
Yeah.
cool. But you're exactly right. It's one of the times, and I feel like that's evolved over the last couple of years. One of the times where people were all not only kind of excited and celebrating that they were on the list, but celebrating
Yeah.
other people who were on the list,
Yeah.
talking about other people. That was, you're right. That was 100% right. And so I just wanted to kind of echo what you
No,
said. Awesome.
it was an example of contagious joy, and I love that.
Yes.
So anytime we
Yes.
can spread that, let's do that. All right, Kirby. I don't know who has up front today, so I'll just do it
Okay.
because I
Perfect.
have a feeling. I have a feeling you'd have the same topic anyway. We don't
Okay.
know this, but I have
Yeah.
a feeling. Patagonia reverses
Mm.
course to allow brand embroidery again. Was that going to be your topic, Kirby?
It wasn't, but I'm really glad you brought it up because as
All
soon as you
right.
said it, I was like, oh, yeah, that should have been my topic.
Okay. So just real quick, after 2 years saying it wouldn't authorize brands on its products, they reversed course again. And so beginning this spring, they're going to allow limited brand embroidery. The reason stated is Patagonia has developed new solutions to either remove, repair, or repurpose embroidered Patagonia products to better extend their usable lifespan and keep them out of the landfill. The statement went on to say, this program will be offered on a limited basis. So they've had a very complicated relationship with our industry. In 2018, they briefly only allowed certified B corporations to emblazon their merchandise.
Yep.
They quickly changed that and allowed brands that only decorate on the sleeve or the back. In 2019, the company required, quote, disclosure as to the type of company whose name will appear on the Patagonia product and show how it will be used. And in 2021, they stopped embroidery altogether, but allowed zipper pulls and things like that. So, and Patagonia with this is still going to reserve the right to approve. Kirby, I would like your thoughts on this. I have many.
Yeah. So I guess overall, my first inclination when I saw this was I was pleased. I thought that again, this is one of those moments where people might get frustrated with me. I thought initially them pulling out was really stupid. And the reason it's really stupid is if you provide an avenue for people to purchase your product, then they will most of the time do it the way you want them to do it because you have a partner,
Right.
you've given them a path to do it, right? Under Armour did this when they partnered with Alpha Broder. So it was like there was a path to buy Under Armour, you just had to do it. North Face on the other side for a long time. Now they're doing it with Sanmar, and that makes sense. North Face was not available in the industry, except it totally freaking was because everybody just went and bought it and embroidered it. And then they had no control over the pathway. And that's, I guarantee, I love that Patagonia has said they found a way to repurpose it. I like the idea of keeping these things out of landfills. Great.
Right.
I don't see Patagonia jackets as a big landfill problem, but okay. But what they've found is that people were buying Patagonia jackets and putting porn star logos on it because they had no control over the distribution of it. So it makes total sense to me that they've created a pathway that they've set up. Will people operate outside of it? Of course they will. But fewer people will because you've given them a pathway to do it the way you want them to do. That's my take.
Okay, so last week we spread some contagious joy. I'd like to spread some contagious bitterness. Who cares? I am so tired of companies like Patagonia. Are you in or are you out? And no, you got to do it this way. No, you got to do it this way. And it made it very difficult for distributors when their end user clients are saying, we want Patagonia. Well, you can kind of have it. We think we can get it. Maybe we can. I don't know. Or zipper pulls cool. No, can't do that. It's exhausting. I don't want any promotional product in a landfill. And I understand the thought behind that. A decorated piece of merchandise, Patagonia merchandise, if someone leaves that company, might end up in a closet or a landfill. I understand the thought behind it. To me, this feels like their sales are lagging now that they've transferred ownership. I think they're still a very good company and stand for a lot of great things, but they're not led by the same person who led the company before, who started the company. So I don't know if this is sales are lagging or what. I'd like to see how the I'd like them to show how they're increasing the lifespan of garments by removing the embroidery. I
Mm,
think there needs to be some transparency there, because to me that sounds like a bunch of bullshit. I'm
yeah,
sorry, it does. It
yeah,
sounds like grandstanding at its worst. I love the brand. I love what they stand for, what they purportedly stand for. But I think there are some better actual options in the industry. I think most of the industry's moved on from Patagonia,
yeah. It's a thing you
in
got to be
terms of
careful about.
yeah, yeah. So I do love the brand. Excuse me. I own some Patagonia merchandise. I think they're high quality and they're fantastic. But man, get in or get out. Stop with this stupid wishy-washiness. And you know what? Bail out of the rules too. If people want something on the sleeve and on the back and on the chest, let them.
Mm, yeah,
Let them.
yeah.
Give the people what they want.
Yeah, I don't have a problem necessarily with the rules and kind of setting it up and making it trying to feel like an exclusive thing. That doesn't bother me so much. But yeah, I will say that it is fascinating to me when retail brands who are clamored for in the promotional space say no, we're not going to do it,
Yeah.
are always surprised, like flabbergasted that A, people do it anyway, and
Right.
B, that then they move on. And when you're late to the party, you never catch up. Right. I don't know
Yeah.
what the Nike versus Under Armour sales in the industry are, but my guess is
Right.
Nike crushes them. They were first to the
Yep.
party and they've made
Right.
it easy for people to do business with them. And I think it's the reason I say I actually have blog posts out there that say never buy a Yeti tumbler. It's dumb.
Mm-hmm.
Branded Yeti tumbler. If you want to
Right.
buy one, fine. But it from an investment in your brand perspective, it doesn't make sense. And so
Right.
just because there's better options out there and there's branded options out there, and if you're going to make it difficult, you talk about friction all the time. They've added friction where there doesn't need to be.
And I'm going to push back on you a little bit. I don't like manufactured elitism. And when you say we have some sort of committee that decides which companies can be put on our products, who are you to say? It's the
Right.
same tribunal that sits in Las Vegas and says that restaurant's the best burger in Vegas. I
Sure.
want to see who these people are. I want to understand what the metrics are. Why? What if I wanted a brand of Patagonia product? Would I not qualify because my sales aren't big enough, that I'm not ordering enough? Would I qualify that I'm in Tennessee? Would I qualify that I align myself with a post every week about celebrating a successful week with a cocktail? I don't like that.
Mm-hmm.
You want elitism? Raise your prices. There's your elitism. That's you can control that. I don't like where it's just arbitrary. You can do it and you can't. I'm sorry, I don't. Big time. And I'm amped up, Kirby.
Yeah. Well, just real quick, the only thing I'd say though is that my pushback to you on that is I get what you're saying, and if it affect and if I'm being honest, if it would affect me, and I wanted to do something on Hasseman marketing, and they said no to me, it would piss me
Yeah.
off. However, the idea that you would want to control who gets Brandivate material or who is an advocate for you, I think most companies at least would like some input on that. And I think if you have the cachet to do it, I personally don't have a problem with saying, look, we're not, well, I mean, let's use like a distributor who only does eco-friendly stuff, right? Well, they don't want to do business with people who are in oil and gas because that's not who they are. That's how I see that. As if you were saying, look, those just are not who we are as a brand. I get it.
Fair enough, but I still think the idea that it has to go through some sort of vetting
Sure.
process
Yeah.
is wrong. If you say I don't want to sell to the liquor industry, so
Yeah.
you see something come in, if you're controlling the decoration
Mm-hmm.
and you see something come in for, let's say, Guinness Ale, then you don't do it.
Right.
I don't
I
like
like
the
that.
idea
That's
that there's a committee.
okay. I'll buy that.
So
I can meet you in the middle on that because I think, yeah,
yeah,
just say, okay, I don't want this. I don't want this. And I don't want this.
yeah.
As long as it's other stuff, you should be good.
No, absolutely.
Makes
And
your
man,
life
we are
easier
both
too.
amped up.
Yeah.
It does. It does.
Yeah.
So no, we were both really amped up, but I got to amp it up some more. Kirby, hey, distributors, is your marketing working? If you can't answer that question with an immediate yes, you need to reach out to our pal Jason Oakes over at Promo Pulse. That's right. He can help you, and his team will help you consistently amplify your sales through stunningly beautiful outbound marketing that's so easy to use. You customize it, you set it, you forget it. 5 minutes. Learn more at promopulse.io/amp. Kirby, regale us with a topic,
Oh
please.
man, I'm struggling with which one to choose. Okay. So I'm going to do the one that makes me smile.
Okay.
I'll apologize in advance if this is too colorful, but so I saw this headline this morning.
Yep.
The company tasked with drumming up tourism for the Canadian
Mhm.
city of Regina, pronounced like Carolina, not Regina, has
Mhm.
apologized after its
Okay.
racy adjacent new slogans, including "Show us your Regina" as a part of their tourism campaign.
Yeah.
And apparently there were some other ones too that were all questionable, right?
Yeah.
And so I read down the article and they said they ran this by committees, they had focus groups, and everybody was on board until it got
Yeah.
out, and then people were not on board. The one of the people, and I don't remember his name. I apologize, I didn't write this down. He came out and he said, "This is my fault. I did this." And even though there were a bunch of people who were a part of this,
He
he's
took
like,
he took
"This is me.
responsibility.
I did it." So I appreciated that. And so it was, I just thought it was really funny. I read it this morning. Um, but I wanted to say, I mean, as someone who, both of us work on campaigns, and I think
Mhm.
that when done right, an edgy campaign can really
Yep.
be effective.
Yeah.
So when do you know, right? When do you know? I don't know. This one goes too far. One of the comments back was, "Hey, would you be comfortable saying this in front of your kids?" And the guy
Mhm.
said, "And they're right." And so they backed off
Right.
everything or whatever. So I kind of wanted to get it to you and say, you've created campaigns for your company,
Mhm.
for other companies,
Yep.
and as have I. And honestly, I usually like the edgier stuff, and very few brands are willing to do it. So how do you know? How do you know? Because humor is subjective. How do you know when you've gone too far?
Yeah. So I'll start off by saying what I thought about, and I have to quote the great David St. Hubbins, the lead singer of Spinal Tap, here when he said, "There's such a fine line between stupid and clever." And there is. So, it's hard to know where that line is because you want to get close to it, but you don't want to go over it. To me, as I was hearing you speak, and what really resonated with me, they brought in outside people, they had committees, they sound like a lot of people were involved. And this is what it's almost just sounds like a case history and group think. You get a group of people together, and all of a sudden, they'll make some dumb decisions because
Mm,
everybody in that group's kind of like that. No one wants to be the voice of dissent because
mm,
there's a lot of people in that room, and I don't want to be the only guy. Am I the only guy that thinks this might be a bit too far?
yeah.
So it's probably a study in group think. I think to answer your question, it's hard. I
Mhm.
think if I equate it to if you're going to say something snarky on a social media platform, or you're going to try to do something edgy for a client or something like that, if you have to think about, I wonder if this will be taken wrong, don't use it. To me, it's that
Mm,
simple. If there's an opportunity for someone, I mean, to take it wrong
mm,
or to be offended by it, probably don't do it. That's unfortunately the society we live in. Now, I have a hard time understanding how the use of that part,
Regina is the name of the town. Regina. Yeah.
Regina, yeah. Are they close to Mulva? So I have a hard time seeing how they didn't know that people might be. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not a bad term. Vagina is not a bad term, right? It is
Yeah.
not a bad term any more than penis is. And
Right.
now we've worked both into the podcast, which I'm really proud of.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. They're not bad words, but they're shocking when you're not expecting them.
Yeah.
And I think when you're equating a town with a sexual organ, that feels really weird to me. And so I have a hard time understanding how this passed muster with anybody. Glad somebody stood up and took the hat of responsibility. That's always important. I love that, whether that person was directly the final decision maker or just involved.
Right.
I like that. But to
Yeah.
me, this almost feels manufactured. I
Yeah.
have a hard time believing that intelligent people would sit in a room and go, that's a good idea, eh? How about
Yeah.
some back bacon?
All right. So I would say, I loved what you said, and this is one of those moments where I'm throwing this at you and you didn't know anything about it. But
Nope.
okay, so
No.
where I will disagree with you
Yep.
is that you're like, okay, if I feel like it's gone too far and someone will be offended with it, I shouldn't do it. Because if that's the
Right.
case, and you and I've said this before on the podcast, we're
Yep.
going to say this podcast is going to be full of the word the, because that's the
Right.
only thing that doesn't piss people off anymore. So I
Right.
don't know that I buy the idea that you can't say it if you think somebody would be offended. However, what I would say is,
Yeah.
I think it has to do with the brand, because you have
Well,
to like,
absolutely.
well,
Has to
but I mean, that's key,
100%.
right? Because they're a city that probably wants families to come and visit them, right? And
Right.
so
That's what
if
I'm
that
saying. It's
was
not on brand
Vegas,
for them.
if that was Vegas, maybe you would think it would fit. Like there are times like when we say stuff, you know, I use our piece of content, which is Thirsty Thursday, right? I was actually talking about this the other day with another company, and I said, you guys shouldn't do this. This
Yeah.
fits with who we are. And quite frankly, if you are offended by watching Thirsty Thursday, you should not do business with us. So I don't give a shit if you don't like it, because if you walked in, we would say these things to you. And I think that's where that to me, that's where it is. If it is consistent with your brand, and that would be fine.
Yeah.
And you don't care if it offends anybody, I think it's perfect, right? Just like the beverage of the week. Like if somebody's offended by the beverage of the week, they probably shouldn't be a Brand of Eight client, right? And
probably not.
So that would be my only pushback to say, yeah, that's hilarious, and I can't believe that they did it. But there are brands that would totally work for.
So take back your pushback, because I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
To me, in my mind, the way my brain works, that was self-explanatory. I shouldn't assume that. Absolutely, the line moves per brand.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's not, look, it's a podcast, so we say things that are somewhat quick and flippant.
Yeah.
So I'll get a little deeper into it.
Okay.
It's a gut feeling more than anything else. It's not so much as it's a offensive or not offensive. I mean, right now anybody can be offended by anything. So I understand that. To me, it's a moving target per client and per the day. I mean, what's going on today? What's going on in the world? So it does get a little more complex than that. But in general, if I have to think twice about it, I probably won't use it. That's, I guess, what I was trying to distill it down to.
So like for Brand of Eight, and I think that's because like I said, I threw this at you without you having any time to consider it. So that I appreciate your clarification. But I think maybe what you're saying is, if you're doing a campaign for Brand of Eight and you're like, I don't know if this is going to go too far, then it probably is going too far. Because if you're uncomfortable with it in that moment, then does that make sense?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. No, when I will say this, when I've had things that I felt were edgy for me and my brand at Brand of Eight, and I have engaged people I thought would be the audience that might be offended. And as friends, I said, I'm sharing this with you. I want your honest feedback. Are you offended by this? And last time I did it was around the holidays, and the response I got was absolutely not, but I can see how people would be. And so it was like, okay, so I guess I have a decision to make. And I went ahead and did it.
Yeah,
no problem.
But it's good that you have. I like that you have at least some people that you trust to go, hey, I want.
Absolutely.
I'm about to push the envelope a little bit. I want to make sure that I'm not being reckless.
Absolutely. All right, one quick one, just a quick one, Kirby.
Yep.
So you like the chicken wing, do you not?
Yeah, that's okay.
On occasion, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if you know this, Kirby, but there's a man in Chicago, Illinois, that has filed a class action lawsuit against Buffalo Wild Wings, alleging that their boneless chicken wings constitute false and deceptive advertising and marketing because they are not actually a deboned chicken wing. The allegations include that Buffalo Wild Wings knowingly misleads its customers by marketing their boneless wings rather than as glorified chicken nuggets. The complaint went on to say, had he known the products were not actual chicken wings, he either might not have purchased them or would have paid less. His attorney said, unbeknownst to the plaintiff and other consumers, the products are not wings at all, but instead slices of chicken breast meat deep fried like chicken wings. Kirby, I'd like to know your thoughts. So this is really a branding question, right? They are branded as buffalo wings, as chicken wings. I have some hardcore thoughts on this. If you'd like me to go, or if you'd like to respond, I will shut my yapper.
If you don't understand why everybody freaking hates lawyers, this is why. Like, of course it's a chicken nugget. It's a boneless wing. Like, they don't come boneless. Like, this is the dumbest, like, how someone files a lawsuit about this dumb shit. I will never understand. So no, I think that's wildly stupid. I think if I'm, and again, to the branding side, dude, if I'm Buffalo Wild Wings, I am doubling down. Like, there's going to be campaigns around this. There's going to be t-shirts around this. You know, at least we have the nuggets to serve chicken, whatever, because that would be on brand. So that would be my thing.
To me, the complainant, the plaintiff, missed the mark. They're not buffalo meat. Maybe that should have been your lawsuit. Buffaloes don't even have wings. Joking aside, like I said, it's really dumb. You said it. Shame on the attorney that took this case. Nobody is under the illusion that those are deboned chicken wings. No one.
It's never even occurred to me to ask.
No, in fact, when someone orders boneless wings, I'm pretty sure a standard joke at the table, oh, you're going to have some chicken nuggets? So I'm pretty sure it's well known. It just, again, why do people hate attorneys? This is why. But I'll tell you what people don't hate, Kirby. Do you know what that is?
What's that, Bill? Sorry.
Getting those, getting those wow and aha moments from clients. That's right. And the way you can really do that is with truly custom brand merchandise that's not off the shelf, but it's more off the wall. And that's where our pals over at 7 Sourcing come in handy. They work directly with each distributor on brand strategy, product development, product sourcing, order management, quality control, compliance, and logistics. They really demystify ordering custom merchandise overseas, creating off-the-wall solutions, and they've been doing it for well over a quarter of a century. We're talking experts here. And so it's one of those things where you can really wow and aha your client with some custom branded merchandise, and they love an opportunity. Russ is absolutely a rock star, and they love the opportunity. He and his team at 7 Sourcing love the opportunity to work with you. That extra planning is absolutely worth it to get those wow and aha moments. So give them an email or send them an email. I don't think you give emails. You send them generally at sales@7sourcing.com. Kirby, I want to thank you for having the courage to talk sexual organs in Canadian cities with me today, and I hope you have a fabulous day.
That's right.